looks like you are going to get another vlog from me. It's going to be a big combination vlog. It's going to be, what I'm working on right now are prep projects, things that need to get done before I can start setting up the haunt. And some of this is stuff that I should have did over the winter, but I was busy working on the vandalism on those projects, trying to get them done, and never got to them. What I'm working on right now, and I should say I've already gotten 8 or 9 projects done. They were quickies, but this one might take a while. This is my power box. I control all the power in my haunt. I've got 2 main banks of 12 volt. This one's attached to one power supply. I hook all my lighting to it. This one is 12 volt. I run all my motors, scuba boards, everything else off of it. And then I have 7 circuits of 12 volt that runs off of a computer power supply. And then I've got 21 different hookups for 5 volt items on it. I've also got main power switch, which turns all this on and off, plus 4 AC lines. I can control all my AC stuff, household current, 110, however you want to call it. And yes, AC means alternating current, not air conditioning. But anyway, last year we found we had 3 circuits, one on one power supply, 2 on the others, where the circuits went dead. So I need to diagnose what's gone wrong with them. That and the box needs to be cleaned. Since it's been sitting over there on my workbench with all my foam carving, I got a lot of foam dust in here. I need to get the vacuum out, vacuum it, and get all the garbage out before I really start turning power on. But what I need to do, like over here, circuit number 11 which is this power supply here that runs it, circuit board number 11, or switch number 11. I need to come back through here and check all the wiring. Going from here, this is where my positive and negative leads from the power supply hook up. I need to check those for circuit number 11, make sure everything's working there. Once those are checked out, I need to check out these back here behind that wiring mess. Those are my switches here. I need to make sure those are okay. Now once I've done that and those have been tested and they work fine and everything, then that's going to tell me up here. I've got a back of a switch and the back of an LED. Each switch has a LED, so when I turn it on, the LED comes on to tell me, whether it's working or not. I have a hunch it's the LED that's failed and is breaking the circuit on here, but I don't know. I'm going to have to go through and unzip tie everything, trace my wiring, make sure all my wiring is okay, and then go from there. But this is going to be a kind of a long, involved process. This is project number 1. Okay, I'm working on switch number 11 here, which is that's the back of this. Alright, get the camera out of the way so the light can get in. See where it is, right here. That's the back of the switch. I've got power going in on the bottom one, power coming out on the other one. And they all trace down. I've got my main power line coming in here. It goes in there, comes out there, and then travels down to the switches in the back. Now I just checked that circuit. It works fine. The one thing I haven't checked yet is the LED. It's definitely got power coming in, and the connection is all tied together there. Negative is over here, which is where it goes down to the switch. I've got to uncover that and double check that. But since that's the negative cord that goes down to the switches, it's also tied in as part of number 12, which is this next switch. If that connection was bad, the number 12 wouldn't work either, and it's working. So I'm assuming it is the LED. I'm going to have to replace that LED, which means taking it loose here You know, and resoldering that joint together, and then I'm going to have to take it loose here and resolder a new LED in. That should hopefully fix the problem. If it doesn't fix the problem, then I've got another problem. But I'm pretty sure it's the LED. I've had this problem kind of before on older boxes, and I find that when the LED goes bad, it interferes with the power circuit for some reason. I don't know why. I used to have it going from the switch to the LED, then down to the socket. And if the LED went bad, then the socket would go dead. This one, I avoided that. I have wires, and when the power comes on, the LED comes on, but it does not tie in and affect the power line. So with the LED going bad, it shouldn't bother the power at all. So, just my indicator light shouldn't work. So I'm not exactly sure what's what with that. But anyway, I'm going to dig around with it a little bit more. But I think replacing that LED is going to be the cure for this switch. Okay, it's definitely the LED. Not sure why. But I went through, that's the power lead there. I just snipped it. It ran from there to here. And I just snipped it. I figured, okay, well, let's test this right now. And if I take number 11, throw the switch, the light doesn't come on because it's been disconnected. You know, so it just looks dead. So, I brought down here, and this is plugged into circuit number 11. I hit the switch on, comes on. Hit it off, it goes off. With the LED up here hooked in, that was dead down there. So that tells me I definitely need to repair and replace that LED. I could just leave it off, but I'd like to know when this is shut. I normally don't have it open when I've got everything running in there. Afraid of binding up wires and causing a short or anything. I like to know what circuits are on and what circuits are working. You know, it's also fail-safe. If something fails out in the hunt, the light out here will go off too and notify me that there's a problem. So I'm going to have to replace that LED to get it working. And there's several different ways I can do that. But I've got bug fix 2 switches over on this mess too. And I will do that after I get this one working. I'm just happy I found the problem. Alright, sorry for blinding you with the light. Number 11, which was the one I was working on here, is now working. I replaced the LED, and I left the leads long. I didn't trim them down like I had the originals. They're a little bit longer than they should be. But I soldered it in. It's working fine. Now my next one is number 9 and 10. And I've got an interesting problem. When the lid's open like this, number 9 and number 10 work just fine. But when I close the lid, you know, have it down in its closed position, number 9 and number 10 don't work. They both go off. And I am not exactly sure why. The power side of 9 and 10, I got one line here going into the LED and a line over here going to the LED, are working. They're getting power, so those should be fine. But the ground, they both share a ground wire here. And I'm going to have to check down here. I don't know if I've got any splices down here going down to the switches down there. But I'm going to have to try double check this. I think this is the area where it's causing problems. Because when I fold this down, they go out. But when I lift it up, they flicker a little bit. But you can see the glow there on 9 and 10. So that's telling me there's a bad wire someplace. It could be in this section here, it could be in the ground. I can't see where it'd be the power. You know, if it was the power line, it would be, you know, only one LED out, not both of them. And the only line they share is the ground. So I'll have to check there, and I'll have to check this bundle down in here. There might be a pinch line. Oh, yep. Yeah, see, they're flickering when I move this bundle. So the problem's in here, right in here. I'll have to unzip tie that and take a look at it, but that's where the problem is. They're probably getting pinched in the hinge here that I'm seeing. So I can splice that together and maybe get them to work. Let's see where we can get. Maybe it's an easy fix. Well, that problem fixed. We got 9 and 10 working. And what it ended up being was the negative lead, the black wire that was hooked up to the LEDs where it ran. Here, we'll get this back open. Here, hold on a sec. It takes a while to fold it up. This black wire ran down to the power bar, the negative side of it. And it had been getting pinched up here. Every time I opened and closed the lid, it was fraying the wire back and forth. And it just broke. When the lid was fully open, it would straighten the wire out and it would make connection. And then when I closed it, it would bend it, breaking the connection. And that's what was the cause. So I just snipped it loose up here, resoldered a new piece of wire on, ran it down, and then bundled it up so it wouldn't bind anymore. So fairly simple fix. That means we have all 3 of the switches that were acting up fixed. So this, other than cleaning up, this project is now done. And I probably should go through here and do this. I'm basically turning on all the circuits to make sure their lights come on. I normally do this once I get it outside to make sure there's no problem. 15. Okay, 15's working. Now it's not. That is a problem in the switch. And this one probably needs to be have a look taken at it too. But they're coming on. Now my thing is I never made it down to using 15 and 16 last year. Usually the last 4 switches don't get used. We only have 14 displays. So that, that was probably the problem. But that I can live with. This bank here, which runs all my motors, is working fine. And then I got my backup here. And they're all working. So for some reason I do get down to 15 and 16 this year and they cause me problems. I can just put them over to here. Though, while I have this out, I probably should fix it. I probably should. I really don't want to. Now on the 5 volt, you notice yellow lights. Same setup as this. I've just used different colored lights so I don't get them confused. And it looks like I've got 1, 2 over here that need to be fixed. But I don't have 21 5-volt items, so we should be okay. But anyway, those 3 I had marked from last year were bothering me, and I wanted to make sure I got them fixed. I always want to make sure I have enough 12 volt. I have more 12 volt in the hunt than I do anything else. Now I'm calling this done, and I'm sitting here turning switches off. It takes a while to hit this many switches. But just going up. But anyway, date today. What is the date today? I should know the date today. I was just on the cell phone and was counting. Yeah, it's August 22nd. So we've still got a couple of more small projects I need to do to fix. And that stuff is up in the attic. And that's one of our prep things. We're going to get up in the attic and bring all the Halloween stuff down, so I'll have access to them. I might give you some clips on that. But I did want to vlog this, my fix. So we got number 9 over here, and then, what was it, 11 and 12, or 9 and 10? Okay, hold it. It was number 11 over here, and then 9 and 10 here. Those 3 were up and working. It took all of about 2 hours to go through and get those 3 switches fixed. Basically because I had to trace down wires and figure out what was wrong with it. But it's the 22nd. And like I said, I've got several other projects. I might give you some clips of those and stuff. And then we'll see where we're at. And I'll decide whether I'm going to upload this or not. Of course, if you're watching this, now I did decide to upload. So anyway, another project bites the dust. Hey peeps, it is August 23rd. We've got roughly 13 days left before we start setup. And I need projects. I need something. I can't just sit around on my hands for 13 days. Yesterday, the 22nd, Swin and I got up in the attic. We got all the Halloween stuff down, which gave me a chance to work on 2 other small projects. Excuse me. Now, if you saw the walkthrough or watched the setups last year, you'll know we replaced the butler out at the entrance with a real tall witch. That witch came with a try me button that you could use to trigger the witch. I went and put it on the 3 sisters and got the 3 sisters to work with a Scooby-Doo board, which is where I used to trigger my props. Since then, I've been looking around trying to find more try me buttons. So we definitely need to have one on that new witch. Have not been able to find any. And I got to think, I've got a bunch of old computer plugs and stuff I don't even use anymore. Well, with the stuff down from the attic, that means the witch was down. I took these in, and all of these fit the jack for the try me button. So what I'm thinking about doing, since I want to get that witch to trigger, I want to hook her up to my Scooby-Doo board. But I need the jack for the try me button. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to check these out, the wiring on them, and I'm going to see if I can add some speaker wire to them to make them long enough so I can attach it to a Scooby-Doo board. That's one project, and that's a fairly quick, straightforward project. The other project is this here. This is one of my cameos from the photo hallway. It runs off of 5 volt. There's a female here and then a male, and they do a dialogue back and forth. Last year, the male was working fine, but the female here, her eyes would light up, her jaw would move, and that was it. There was no sound. The sound quit working on her. Now, I do not know if it's the switch here being bad, or the control board inside, or it's the speaker, or whatever it is. So I need to get in there and take a look at it. More than likely, since this is a spirit prop, it's probably the board is blown. And in which case, the cameos, both the male and the female, will be static props in the photo hallway. But I want to take a look at that. Then I have a third project revolving around those wires, and I will get into those once I get these 2 projects done. But those wires will eat up the rest of my free time up until we get ready to set up the haunt. I hope. 2 projects done, or for the most part done. The pigtail for the Scooby-Doo board for the new witch that goes out at the entrance is done. I basically cut this off of this, bared, peeled back the housing on it, and there was 3 wires inside, yellow, white, and ground. So I went and attached 3 pieces of speaker wire. The black is going to the green, and the two reds are going to the yellow and white. I'm assuming the green one that was in that bundle is ground, and then the other two are hot and negative. But I'll have to play with it on the witch when the witch is set up and see which is which. And that we can't do until we're setting up the haunt. So I can put this away. It's effectively done. Hopefully it works. The other one was the cameo. And we got the back off. That's what the inside looks. That's the battery box. We've got the speaker and the on-off switch. And yes, it is in the on mode. And then we got the circuit board that does all the volume control and the voice and everything. And then the motor that moves the mouth. There is no broken wires. Everything looks intact and is snug. So I have no idea what the problem is. I'm not going to sit here and try to rewire this damn thing. So for now, I'm calling this a dead prop. So I'm going to put the back on, and we are going to snip the power line on it. There's no use having the power line if it's not working. And we'll just use it as a decoration in the photo hallway. And I'll do the same thing to the male. The other half of this. I'll clip the power line up, and they'll just be up as a decoration. You do look kind of neat sitting in there. The thing is, this is a Spirit Halloween prop. And everyone knows Spirit Halloween stuff is cheaply made. These cameos, I think we bought back in 2016, 2017. So we've gotten 5 or 6 years worth of use out of them. I'd say that's pretty good for a Spirit prop, a Spirit animated prop. Of this side, 'cause they do get bumped, and and they sway back and forth on the walls and stuff in the wind and stuff. So having them up as a static prop isn't going to hurt anything. So those two things are done. Now I got to get this mess cleaned up so I can start tackling that mess over there. Okay. Now as to the mess, which is that wiring. If you haven't guessed already, LEDs. Red LEDs. One of the projects I was supposed to do this season, and I ran out of time, was the chain hallway panels. Not making new panels, but replacing the lights. We have quite a few panels to where either the wiring is coming out, has frayed and broken, causing the lights not to work, or bulbs have gotten broken or been burned out due to water leakage. So I was going to go through and replace all the LEDs. And like I said, I ran out of time. Now, I've got limited supplies. Most of the money I've got available for a haunt is being involved in buying haunt supplies right now. So I don't have any extra funds for buying prop building supplies. So what I'm going to do is I've got more than enough supplies to get, 418 LEDs wired up. And we're just going to go panel by panel until I run out of supplies and replace lights. Whatever doesn't get done will get done over the winter. So we're going to be working on that. We'll be working on that until probably the 4th of September. The 2 days prior to setup, I have some other projects I need to do to prep for opening day. But this is going to give me something to do, so I'm not sitting around for over a week twiddling my thumbs. But anyway, we're going to work on replacing the lights on the in the chain hall. So that's our next project. I have no idea how far we're going to get. Well, we've made it a little bit further. Got all the LEDs assembled with their resistor and their power leads. You know, where you hook up the power. Red goes to positive, black goes to negative. My next step are these here. This is some heat shrink tubing, and I've got two different sizes this time. A small one and a large one. Now, what I'm doing, and what I originally did on the original lights in the chain hallway, was I just put one on over each lead, and if you notice there near the top, there's just a little bit of wire showing, you know, up here on the top of the LED, just a little bit of it showing, and that's caused when you heat up the heat shrink tubing. As it shrinks, it pulls back. Now I'm thinking, since he's outside in the weather, so they get wet a lot, the leads tend to corrode a little bit if they're exposed to weather like this. So I came up earlier in the season. I did some panels for Swan's tube hallway, and I'm trying a workaround. I'm taking a piece of the larger stuff and putting it on so it overlaps on the light bulb and then down onto the leads, and then heat shrinking that on, and that protects that little gap there. So, and it also helps reinforce the leads on the LED a bit more. So I'm hoping that will protect them a bit more. Now, I've got 14 in that little stack there. Once I get done with these, I'll have another 100. Plus I've got that stack and two more over there. So I've got another 320 or so more LEDs to get heat shrunk. And then we're going to bring some panels in. We'll start seeing what we can get installed and see how many panels we can get done. Well, here we go. Getting started. I brought in 10 panels all together, and that's the back side, the side I'm going to be working on. There's the front side. Now, each panel, I got one up here on the table, best to use that, I guess, has 9 lights in, 5 on one side, 4 on the other. And when I originally did this, I went, attached a light, and then put a piece of Gorilla Tape over it to help keep the wiring into place until I could get the caulking in. And I'm going to do that again on this. You know, just a little piece of Gorilla Tape, and like I did on here, I can caulk right over the top of it. But to get the project started out, I need to go through here and get the old LEDs out, which means breaking the caulking loose, which is going to be real easy. As you can tell, I've got some cracks in it, and it's pulling away from the edges already. On some panels, the caulking is already let loose, and the wiring is embedded in the caulking, so as the caulking is coming out, the wiring's coming out. So I'm going to get in here and start taking the caulking off. Now the way I'm going to approach this, you know, taking the caulking out, doing the soldering, and all that is the same. And normally, when I'm normally doing something like this, I would go through all the panels, get the caulking and old lights out, and then come in and start putting the new stuff in. But since we're so close to setting up the haunt, and once we start setting up the haunt, I am not going to have time to work on these. I'm going to go ahead and do it panel by panel. I'm hoping this is going to go quick, and then I can get all 40 some odd panels done. If not, the chain hallway is going to have a mixture of blue and red, because the new lights going in on this are blue. Those are all blue over there. So we're going to do it panel by panel. That way I'm guaranteed all the panels still have lights in. This will be that wrong color if I don't get them all. So anyway, time to get going. I think I give you a progress update. It is Saturday, September 2nd. Tomorrow I'm out of town due to work. And on Wednesday we start setting up the haunt. Last segment I talked to you about these and those over there. This is the back of the chain hall panel that has the red flashing lights in it. My goal with these, I knew I was not going to have enough time to get all the panels done before we started setting up the haunt. And once we start setting up the haunt, I am not going to have time to work on it. Now, if I start on a panel in the morning, I can get 6 of them done, maybe 7 by bedtime. So we're talking about 7 days, maybe 8, to get all the panels done. Don't have that amount of time. So my goal for this, since we're changing color of LEDs, we're going from the red that's in there to blue. So my goal is I want to get halfway through, which means I've got 40 of these 2-foot panels. Okay, I needed to get 20 of them done. And each panel has 2 different rows of LEDs. One has 4, the other one has 5. Now, I also have 12 1-foot panels, which I haven't even touched yet. I've got 12 of those. I need to get 6 of them done. Now, 6 of them is the equivalent of 3 of these. I'm hoping Monday night or Monday and Tuesday I'll be able to work on those and get those done. Now, get over here and we'll turn the light on so we can see better. All I'm doing is just pulling out the old caulking, which is what I've got to do on that one, and it's pulling the lights and everything out with it. And now I'm coming back through and wiring in the new lights. I still have to go back through and fill the gaps with caulking to permanently hold those in. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that. But in the state they're in now, they're good enough to use in the haunt. So right now I'm trying to get half the panels to that state. Now, like I said, today's Saturday. Tomorrow I'm out of town with work. Monday we've got errands to do. I've got yard work to do. Some of it prep work for putting the tents and stuff up on Wednesday. I've got a couple other prep work projects I have to have done by Wednesday. So during the day, I'm going to be putting this project on hold. I should have this panel done tonight. I'll just leave the 6 1-foots. I'll put that on hold, and I'll work on them in the evenings to get as many of those done as I can. But I've got some other prep work to do, and I'll go over that. Well, I can kind of go over it now. One, I need to clean my shop. It's a disaster area right now. I've been using it as a gathering point. 2, I need to go over my storage in the back and pull out courtyard and water room panels. So those are ready to go out in the haunt. I've also got all the large pieces for the mausoleum that I need to take out front. We're going to lean them up next to the house so I have access to them. And you'll find out why on that on opening day of setup. I'm also going to do like I did last year, and prior to opening up, I have a certain wall panel I use to run down the exterior of our haunt and down the fence line out there. I'm going to drag those out and get them mounted to the partition walls. It will save me about 2 hours worth of work on opening day if I have those pre-done. So, I've got a lot of little things like that for prep, which I am going to do Monday and Tuesday. Now, if I get it all done on Monday, then Tuesday I'll be in here working on these panels, trying to get the 6 1-foots done. In the meantime, when I need to take a break, I've been working on something else. And that's these here. These are our flyers for the haunt. I've got a post-it one that I hand out to 10 or 11 different places, and they hang them in their windows. Some of them will take these, and these are handout ones. They can put by their cash register, and people can just grab one. It has all the information and stuff on it. And then I got these here, and these are a specialty one. This is what I call a VIP pass. Usually the night before we open to the public, anyone holding one of these can come down within a certain time frame. And I think it's, what is it, 6:30 in the evening until 8:30 in the evening. And they get to go through the haunt before the general public does. And it's a way for me to stress test the haunt. Now, last year we opened up the haunt 3 or 4 days early, so when VIP night came around, I already had all the stress testing done. But the crowds we get on VIP night are not, no, not VIP night, but when we opened up early, the only place I announced that we were opening early was on our Facebook page, so anyone following the Facebook page got to come down. And we were averaging 50 to 75 people a night, except for VIP night. We hit 100 with all the VIP passes I handed out. But I've been working on those. I still got a few of the handouts I need to get cut out. I've been working on those in the evening. So I'll have, I'll have those done before we start telling. Well, I have those done before I'm ready to hand them out. I won't be taking those around to any place until after we finish our last market and I get the driveway closed off. Then we start putting the signage and stuff out. So I still got a couple of weeks to get those done. But for now, there's your project update. Still working on this. Monday we're changing tracks and switching over to something else. So stay tuned. Good morning, people. It is September 5th. Tomorrow is September 6th. Of course, the 6th always follows the 5th. But it's a very key distinction. Today is the last day for prep work. Tomorrow morning, we officially start the setup for the haunted tents, which means tomorrow night, you're going to get a setup vlog. And you're going to get this vlog today. Now, we left you working on those, the chain wall, or chain hall skins. And I'm replacing the LEDs on them. Between those and these, I've got 6 of these 1-foot panels. That is exactly half of the chain haul. I still got to get LEDs, the correct LEDs and stuff into these, which I'm going to be working on today. Shouldn't take all that long. Now I'll be done with it, and we're done with all our prep work. I did want to show you, however, some of the other prep work that we have done. So hold on, we're going to do this in several segments. Okay, one of the other prep work things we did is we got up in the attic and we got all the Halloween puke down. This took us a couple hours to do. We happened to do it on a day where it was 98 outside, which meant the attic was hot, so we go up, bring 4 or 5 containers down, take a break, go back up, take another couple of containers down, take a break. We were both drenched, me and Sue. But we've got all the Halloween puke down now from the attic, so it's good to go. As we need stuff, we can just come in here and grab it and take it out to the haunt. There shouldn't be anything from in here taken out to the haunt. Oh, God. I want to say probably beginning of next week, we'll probably get a few things out of here. But it'll be 2 to 3 weeks before we get this room emptied out. Now, I got way more to show you, so hold on. And this was the other thing. I worked on this last night. It was about an hour in here going through. And I know it still looks like a mess, but this is usually about as clean as a shop gets. I had a bunch of guck in here. But we got in here, got it cleaned up. That chop saw there in that table comes in handy. We use a lot of it for cutting the bracing and stuff. So I definitely needed that clean. Oh, and wiring for the haunt. There's 3,000 feet of wiring there. I bought 3 spools of it this year. I had this left over from last year. And I normally, up here where the hat is, have a huge coil of leftover wire. You know, from last year that we use in the haunt. Don't have any of it this year. All the wire we saved from last year ended up going into doing the lighted panels. But we got the shop taken care of, so it's good to go. Then we made it out here. I got 2 bushes, which I did some maintenance on. We got parts to the mausoleum. We got the tent, the big tent stuff. That's all good to go. Then we made it right up Kaylee's tail, huh? But we made it out here to the dump. And I've got mausoleum parts, graveyard panels, water room panels. Those are all drug out, ready to go out at some point tomorrow. And I got one other section I want to show you. Hold on. Okay, the last section I wanted to show you was out front out here. And that is this. We got our exterior wall panels put together on the frames, which run down the fence and across the front of the haunt. Got those done yesterday. And then we also got those there. That there is the mausoleum. The mausoleum has to go up tomorrow too. So not only will we be putting the big tent up out here, we've got 3 small 10 by 10 tents, and we got the mausoleum. All needs to get put up tomorrow. So tomorrow's setup vlog. Come on, Kay. Come on, sit in the back. Come on, get in the back. Come on, let's go. She wants to follow me to the back. But like with regular setup vlogs, day one, you're going to have some fast forward footage. And depending on how I'm feeling when I'm editing that footage, I might just say screw YouTube and I might put music to it instead of having dead silence for 15-20 minutes. And I will try to limit it a little bit. No guarantees, but I will try. But with that, prep work is done. So we will see you in the setup series starting tomorrow. Stay spooky. Stay toxic.